intentionally surrendered your sovereignty to Buckingham Palace, Queen Elizabeth II died, automatically King Charles X becomes the head of state and king of this nation. So that position you surrendered to Buckingham Palace, sorry for you, you can never take it back unless you amend the Constitution. Governor General, you can vote him in for 6 years and then vote him out. But the head of state is not subject to election. Head of state is not subject to prosecution. Look at what he did. Now let's look at the implications. The implications of that retreat. Number one, legal implications. Legal implications. Number one, we have 3 arms of government. Legislature, that's a parliament. Judiciary, that's the court system. You have the Supreme Court, National Court, and the District Court. And then the executive, that NEC, National Executive Council, police courts and others, they come under NEC. So Section 100 of the Constitution, you vested the legislative power of this country in the Parliament. The Constitution says, in Section 100, it says that the legislative power, the power to make laws, is vested in the Parliament. So Parliament consisting of 111 or how many members you have. So Parliament is not an individual but is an institution. It's an institution. Section 158 of the Constitution vests the judicial power, power to interpret the law, is vested in the national judicial system. That's Supreme Court, National Court, District Court, that's court system. But Section 138 of the Constitution vests the executive power, the power to govern, is not vested in an institution but vested in an individual, the head of state, the king. Ladies and gentlemen, the most powerful president in Papua New Guinea is the king, Charles III. Not the prime minister. Prime minister is subject to the king. Chief Justice is subject to the king. Parliament speaker is subject to the king. Let alone all of you sitting here. And those of you who are watching online. Section 188 of the Constitution. We stood at best executive power in the National Executive Council. That is an institution. But we decided to vest executive power, the power to govern, in the head of state, who is in charge of that. So you can see how much power, your sovereignty, the authority to govern yourself, you have surrendered. And Section 85 of the Constitution implies that public is a realm of the monarch. So where is the sovereign nation? A territory. So am I looking at some citizens or subjects? Section 84 says that all of you are subject to the head of state. It takes precedence in red. That's the legal implication. You surrender power away to Buckingham Palace. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now being directly ruled by Buckingham Palace through the extension down there at Governor House, through the Governor General, according to Section 83. Governor General is the representative of the king. So you are being ruled by the king through the Governor General. So I am saying that this nation, no. This nation is, we are not in charge of this nation. Okay, some legal implications. All your legal instruments do not have legal validity unless the head of the state signs them off or endorses. You can, even your appointment of departmental heads, even the appointment of Prime Minister, even the Prime Minister can be elected on the floor of Parliament, but that election is invalid until he goes down there and King's swears in and loses that election. You cannot conduct elections in this country unless Buckingham Palace, through the government house, gives you the okay to run elections. You cannot appoint departmental heads, their appointment is invalid until Buckingham Palace endorses that appointment. You can't pass your laws until Buckingham Palace gives the endorsement. Of course, the Parliament Speaker signs it off, but the Governor General must give what is known as royal assent. So who is running this country? Are you in charge or who? You decided to surrender sovereignty away, your own sovereignty away. There's a legal implication. All your products have no legal authority, legal validity unless and until they are endorsed by Parliament House. So to me, I realize that we don't have any legal authority. We get those authorities alone. Economic implications. Our law says, any contract, government contract for 10 million plus, you must receive the endorsement from the Governor General or the head of state. Anything other than this petty cash, you can be able to handle it. Anything other than 10 million is petty cash, you can handle it. Anything beyond 10 million, you need to get the approval from Parliament Palace to the extension here. You can't go into contracts worth 10 million plus. Another economic implication is, you, the taxpayers, are paying the bill for the monarch rule of India. That budget doesn't come from Parliament House. So you, the taxpayers, are paying for a monarch rule to reign over. And you are doing it very well. You have done extremely well for the last 50 years. So you should congratulate yourself because that's what we do in the kingdom. The subjects must maintain the monarch, and you have done your bit, and you will continue to do so until we change the constitution. That's the economic implications. Any benefit? Australia built 2 beautiful natural up there on the other side of the road, and we see a lot. Your king, hey, your constitution declares that the king of England is king of Papua New Guinea. That's what the constitution says. Any benefit? So where is the building? Yeah, you have received some on us. That's the economic implication. Political implication, you surrender your sovereignty away. The highest position in the political structure, you surrender to Parliament House. But you know that all other 3 arms of government, they're subject to the head of state. The head of state prevails over that whole. So you can see, the head of state prevails over. So that's why I say that all the 3 arms of government are subject to the monarch. Prime Minister Marani, a few years ago, pronounced a curse over the nation or over the people, and people were jumping up and down complaining, and if some complained that he should withdraw the curse. And I jokingly, not jokingly, I really meant, understanding all this, the structure of the government and stuff, I said, his curse doesn't apply to me. I studied separations of power. All the police officers are under that curse. All the ministers are under the curse because they come under the executive arm of the government. They have pronounced the curse. Some of us who are in the judiciary or you are in the parliamentary services, you are not under the curse. Let alone the private sector. Let's understand the structure and then how case flows. If I were the head of my own family, my case wouldn't apply to another family member unless there is a good ground. Unless the head of state pronounces that curse applies to the whole nation. Somewhere in the Bible, King David, sitting away in his palace, Satan put a thought in his mind, and then he said, I want to take a census, whether against God's conviction. And some people, my mother was doing gardening in the gardens, another man was doing fishing out in the sea. These are totally innocent people. But the curse to be vexed because he was the king. What he did was binding on the whole nation. So 70,000 people died. So I sometimes jokingly say that if your elected member is prostituting in the eyes of God, the whole district is guilty of that sin. So we are not going to exaggerate what's wrong. Some of us are not guests. You should be at peace now, especially when not. Anyway, I'm going to go home. I'm going to come to the spiritual implication. What we did as a spiritual implication, and this I consider very serious, we made a decision and we signed off and gave our power away. I believe that this should explain or some of our problems can be attributed to this. You look at Esau and Jacob. They had a brotherly conversation. Esau was coming in from the bush. Jacob was there preparing a meal. And then he was hungry, so he asked for his brother, can you give me a soup, a plate of soup? And Jacob was very strategic and smart. He said, very good, you can have the plate of soup, but on one condition. Give me your birthright. And Esau being foolish. What is birthright to me? You can have it. You can have it all. Just give me the plate of soup. I am tired now. And Jacob was very strategic and he said, very good. Say the same thing, but this time invoke the name of God of Abraham and God of Isaac, and then transfer. And the Bible says that thou shalt not call the name of God in vain, because if all of you are, 50 of you, John are here, if I call John, all of you will react. So that's why God called the name of God in vain. So when he invoked the name of God, then blessing had already been transferred. Years passed, and the angel transferred into heaven. And you all know the story. I'm doing a presentation, I'm not preaching. So I'm trying to explain the spiritual implications of what we did. So years passed, and the blessing was actually to be transferred. And Esau came, he went to the host. If this was my mobile phone, I can never steal my own mobile phone. The law of theft or law of stealing doesn't apply to the owner. I can never steal my own phone. But if somebody other than me picks it up, that can amount to steal. So the birthright was already sold, but was not in his hand, so he was only getting it. So God didn't penalize him. It was justified. You can never steal what is already yours. So he already got what was already his. But look at it. The effect. Now we have the nation named after Jacob, Israel. All these blessings with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So for a plate of soup, so much was transferred. It destroyed itself completely. Papua Guineans. You know it was an easy thing. You surrender your sovereignty away. You are not in charge of your own nation. Do you think this is an easy thing? Never. Esau and Jacob didn't sign a legally binding contract to transfer birthright. You literally signed into your own constitution saying that we will be under, we will subject ourselves to a foreign sovereign. The Bible says that you're supposed to be the head and not the tail. How will you decide to be the tail and not the head? Do you think God will have house of this? You can have 1 million prayers, but those prayers will not be answered unless and until you correct this blunder that I see in the Constitution. A very serious spiritual implication. A very serious. Your Constitution says that we are a realm. We have a king. So in your eyes, you think that this nation is independent state of Papua, but in the eyes of God, you are a colony of the British monarch. You will continue to have face problems. You will change prime ministers like Shet, even to the extent where you bring down an angel from heaven and then install him as prime minister. I tell you that the angel will become devil tomorrow, unless and until you bring power back. Do you think this is easy? You signed up, you said, in the name of God, you said, we will subject ourselves to the British monarch. We will be under, and not the tail, and not the head. We want to remain the tail. Listen to this and listen very carefully. You know what happened to Esau? Esau, after realizing that the blessing had already been stolen or taken, he cried bitterly with tears streaming down his face. He went and begged Isaac and said, do you have only one blessing? You have only one blessing. Bless me. And what did Isaac say? No, I have only one blessing, and that one blessing was taken. And Esau still insisted, please bless me. And Isaac said, you will be like this. You will have no blessing. You will run around. You will be putting up fights every now and then. That will be your life. Pronounced Kesho. On the 6th of May, 2023, almost after 50 years, you thought it was easy. You led a 10-man delegation, burning hard, $900,000 US, or 3 to 4 million kina. Take a flight out around the globe to go and attend the coronation. And you got the same rebuke of Esau. You acted like primitive animals and you surrendered power. And you led a 10-man delegation, burning hard, $900,000 US. And you went to attend a coronation. And you got a rebuke. And you tell it in your poem. But just like Jacob, the rebuke was justified and got installed back into the position. And your little outbursts amount to nothing. Why? Because you have sold power. You are not in charge of your own nation. Who is in charge of this nation? Who has the legal authority? You have been fed with a colonial narrative just to water down the effects of the deed that you did. Oh, it's just a titular position. It's just a ceremonial position. Okay, if it is a ceremonial position, then remove Section 138 of the Constitution. Who has the legislative power? Okay, if it is only a titular position, then will or nonetheless their appointment take effect without endorsement? Who has the power? Who is running? Okay, go remove Section 82 of the Constitution. Stop misleading yourself. As long as you have power over you, how much you try, you will never arrive at the accomplishment. 410 years, the children of Israel were under Pharaoh. No little drop of blessing reached them. Why? Because the head position is a position of authority, accountability, and responsibility. And whoever is the head, rules and reigns, is in charge. It was Eve who picked the fruit. But when it came the time for accountability, God called Adam to account. Adam never went. So Eve was under Adam. Adam matters. So I'm explaining the spiritual implications of what he did. Psalm 123, blessings flow from the head down. If blessings should flow from the head down, then where is your head? You primitive animals, you know this word, it was easy. You acted like a primitive animal and you surrendered your sovereignty. Sovereignty is the authority to govern yourself, to think right. Head is the position of authority. Whoever is the head is in charge. That's a position of authority. You take that away. You don't get it. You have a king reigning over you. You have never been told. If you have been told, you were ignorant. You're now been told. Take it to the social media. Demand for the tablet. Demand for amendment to those Constitution sections 82 to 94. Let's bring the nation's sovereignty back. As I have made it clear right at the outset that I'm not an apology. These are my own ideas, my own visions. I have got a disclaimer in this book. These ideas are not associated where I work or who I associate with. No. These are personal ideas of mine. I'm just sharing them with you. I believe I am empowered by Section 46 of the Constitution That's freedom of expression. So Papua New Guinea, the problem lies in there. You are trying to feed the elite. You can go and change prime minister, appoint this and that. You will not. God bring back power. You acted like Esau. You surrendered your sovereignty away. You got a rebuke. And because you are so blind, deaf and dumb, you couldn't be able to read between the lines. You didn't come. Young men, young women, I believe our founding fathers, they were still under colonial rule, so they may have been afraid. I do not know. They listened. They were living in a time of yes masters, so some of the decisions were very hard for them to do. But you, I'm counting on you. I dare you and I charge you. Demand. We have tested the Constitution for the last 50 years. What is not working for us, we must not be afraid to demand that it be changed. You are going nowhere, this nation is yours. Australia has this kind of arrangement, but they are about 88% of British origin, so they are same tribesmen, living in different geographical locations, so that they can still be under the same leader or monarch. You, Melanesians, you eat kava, taro, and yet. Englishmen eats cereals, wheat, and barley. You sold your sovereignty away. I believe the problem lies there. Go and correct that before you come and fix this, or else you will continue to have problems. You will not think right because you surrendered. On 12 March 2025, you amended the Constitution. Preamble of the Constitution, you declare God as the ultimate authority of this nation. Section 1 of the Constitution, you declare Papua New Guinea as a Christian nation. Section 3 of the Constitution, you declare Bible as the national symbol. Bible was never owned by anyone up until 12 March 2025. It was only a religious book. No one owned it. After the 12 March, since 12 March 2025, Bible is now a private property of the independent state of Papua New Guinea. It has been declared a national symbol, and National Identity Act applies. If you tear one page of the Bible away, you are committing a crime against independent state of Papua New Guinea, and you must be terrorized. It doesn't specify which version, whether it be in your language or in English or Hebrew, as long as it is from Genesis to Revelation, it is a Bible, and now, after 12 March 2025, it is a property of independent state of Papua New Guinea. It has the same status as the national flag, national anthem, and national emblem and all this. That's what you declare. But your king didn't celebrate Easter, but instead teamed up with Muslims that celebrated Ramadan. You are going in different direction, your king is going in different direction. Blessings flow from the head down, Psalm 133. For God to reach you, I know many of you pray. God must go to Magna Palace first. For God to reach Eve, God must go to Adam first, and call Adam to account first, and then from Adam must come and reach Eve. Television signal, state of origin is played down there in Australia, but it doesn't come straight to Papua New Guinea. It has to go up to the satellite picks it up and then redirects it to Papua New Guinea. Your head, God must protocol, God will never breach protocol, He never breached protocol. When He wanted to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham was the spiritual authority there, so He didn't bypass Abraham to go directly to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. So spiritually, politically, legally, your nation is not in proper alignment. Therefore, the conclusion is this: tear down this structure, rebuild it, and be in charge of your own country. Or else, you have been branded already. You have acted like primitive animal and surrendered power away. You're going to do a rebuke. Time to think, 50 years is enough. Let me stop there. So much to talk, jam-packed, but you need to read the book. later. We will have a copy maybe later and read some of these things. I have got a lot of things. So I challenge you, never accept the status quo. I'm not blaming anyone, any politician or whatever. I'm challenging, I'm scanning and diagnosing the structure and analyzing the structure and the foundation of this nation as or is found wanting. And it is my sincere recommendation that fix it and you fix the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your attention. Let me stop there and we will open up for question. I will get into the answer.